Black market peso exchange. Imagine you're a cartel boss in the US. You've got mountains of cash, millions of dollars, but it's all in duffel bags. Too risky to wire it home, too obvious to dump it in a bank. So what's the move? Simple. Enter the black market peso exchange. Here's how it works. You hand your dirty drug dollars to a broker inside the US. That broker finds Colombian importers who desperately need US currency to buy goods, clothes, electronics, even food from American suppliers. Instead of going through a bank, the importers take your dollars in the US, and their partners in Colombia pay your people the same amount in pesos. And this isn't small change. According to US drug intelligence estimates, Mexican and Colombian trafficking groups generate and launder roughly $18 to $39 billion in wholesale drug proceeds each year. So the cartel ends up with clean pesos, the importer gets the dollars they need for business, and on paper, everything looks normal. US goods are legitimately shipped, invoices match, and money moves. Two transactions run side by side. One looks legit while the other hides the crime. To most people, it's just simple trade, but to the insiders, it's billions of dirty dollars turned into clean pesos. Real estate laundering. Ever wonder why so many luxury apartments in big cities sit empty? One reason is money laundering. Real estate is perfect for hiding dirty money. Someone buys a $5 million penthouse with shady cash. A year later, they sell it, and suddenly that cash looks like profit from a normal property sale. They can even rent it out and claim the rent is legit income. This is exactly why criminals pick houses and land. Because big deals look normal in real estate, values are flexible, and ownership can be hidden under shell companies or trusts. The only time investigators start asking questions is when someone buys a house in cash through a company that has no real business, or when the same property is bought and sold again and again for weird prices. It's how London, New York, and Dubai have quietly hosted huge piles of dirty money. Researchers found at least $2.3 billion tied to US real estate laundering cases in recent multi-year analyses. It looks boring on the outside, just another rich buyer, but it's one of the most common and oldest laundering tricks. Crypto laundering. Crypto gave criminals a brand new playground. At first glance, it looks very risky. Every transaction is recorded forever on the blockchain. You can literally see wallets sending and receiving money. But here's the dirty little advantage. While the ledger is public, identities aren't. A wallet is just a string of numbers and letters. Unless you know who owns it, the trail can feel like chasing shadows. So how do they hide? One way is by breaking money into thousands of small wallets, each holding a fraction of the total. Another is using mixers or tumblers, services that take coins from lots of people, jumble them together, then send them back out in random amounts. Try untangling that. And then there are privacy coins like Monero or Zcash, built to conceal the sender, receiver, and even the transaction amount. To give you scale, blockchain analysts estimate tens of billions flow to illicit crypto addresses every single year. Recent figures from crypto analysts put it roughly in the $20 to $40 plus billion ballpark, depending on the year. And crooks continue to use the trick all the time. A victim pays in Bitcoin, the hackers push it through layers of mixers, swap into Monero, and suddenly investigators are staring at a mystery case. Still, it's not completely bulletproof. Experts can sometimes spot unusual patterns, rapid splitting, sudden chain hopping between coins, or cashing out through shady exchanges. At the end of the day, crypto laundering looks futuristic, but it's the same old trick with a digital mask. Take dirty money and make it look like it belongs. Mirror transfers. Okay, picture this. You've got $5 million in shady cash sitting in Moscow, but you want it in London, fast. Carrying it across borders? Impossible. Bank wires? Too suspicious. So you use a trick called mirror transfers. Here's how it works. In Russia, one friend puts rubles into a bank. At the same time in London, another friend pays the same amount in pounds into your account. No physical money ever moves. No international transfer ever shows up. Just two mirrored transactions happening in sync. Just a few years back, regulators uncovered a mirror scheme that quietly shifted about $10 billion out of Russia. It's like magic. Money disappears in one country and reappears in another. On paper, the banks only see normal domestic transfers. Nothing crosses borders, nothing screams laundering. What makes mirror transfers so dangerous is their speed and how easy it is to hide them. Regulators might track big international wires, but a ruble payment in Moscow and a pound payment in London? Totally unconnected, unless you know the people coordinating behind the scenes. It's a dirty money shadow dance. 2 accounts, 2 countries, 1 invisible bridge. And by the time investigators figure out the link, if they ever do, the money's long gone. Money mules. Ever see ads online like, work from home, easy money, no experience needed? Many of those are scams recruiting money mules. A money mule is someone who lets criminals use their bank account to move funds. Sometimes they know it, sometimes they don't. Let's say a student gets $5,000 in their account and is told to forward it to another person for a small cut. Sounds harmless, right? But that money could be from fraud, drugs, or hacking. Other times, criminals take over bank accounts and use them to pass money through. Why do they do this? Because it puts distance between the criminal and the dirty cash. Investigators notice when someone with no big income suddenly starts moving lots of money, especially to foreign countries. Sadly, many mules end up in legal trouble even if they were tricked. In the UK alone, banks recently flagged over 225,000 mule accounts only for the 2024. That's why the police keep warning, if someone offers you easy money just for moving funds, run. Shell companies. Shell companies are businesses that exist only on paper. No staff, no office, no products. Just a name, some documents, and usually a bank account. From the outside, they can look perfectly official, but in reality, they're often used to move dirty money around the globe. Here's how it works. A criminal sets up 2 shell companies. Company A loans $2 million to Company B. Later, Company B pays back the loan. On paper, it looks like a normal business transaction between 2 firms. In reality, nothing of value ever changed hands. It's just the same dirty money moving in circles until it appears legitimate. You've got contracts, signatures, and invoices, all the things banks expect to see. But investigators know to look for red flags, companies with no real business activity, the same people showing up in all the ownership papers, or money bouncing quickly across borders. The Panama Papers leak in 2016 exposed just how common this was. A single law firm created hundreds of thousands of shell companies for politicians, criminals, and even celebrities. Some were legal tax shelters, but many were used to hide bribes, stolen wealth, or laundered money. It proved how easy it is to make fake companies look real. Underground banking, Hawala. Underground banking is a method universally known as Hawala. It is one of the oldest money transfer systems in the world. It's fast, cheap, and built on trust. A person in Dubai wants to send money home. They give cash to a local Hawala broker. Within hours, their family in India or Somalia receives the same amount in local currency. No banks, no wires, no official paperwork. Pretty convenient, right? But here's the catch. Criminals love Hawala for the same reason ordinary people do. It leaves almost no paper trail. A drug dealer in London, for example, can hand cash to a broker. A contact in Pakistan then pays out the same amount in rupees to a chosen account. Later, the brokers settle debts quietly through trade, goods, or further cash swaps. International authorities flag Hawala and similar informal networks as high-risk channels for laundering because they operate outside formal banking rules. For everyday families, Hawala can be a lifeline. For criminals, it's a perfect hiding spot. Over the years, cartels and even terror groups have used Hawala to move millions quietly across borders. Regulators continue to try to strike a balance, keeping it available for people who genuinely need it while catching the criminals who abuse the system. Casino laundering. Casinos might seem like a place for fun and big wins, but they're also a playground for laundering money. Here's the old trick. Someone with dirty cash buys chips at the casino. They play a little, maybe win a small amount, and then cash out. On paper, it looks like legitimate gambling winnings. The result? Dirty money suddenly appears clean. This works because casinos handle a lot of cash every day. A stack of $50,000 doesn't raise eyebrows when the tables are busy. And because casinos have lots of small transactions, it's easy to mix illegal funds with legitimate ones. Some launderers even take it further, moving chips between different casinos, buying luxury items, or cashing out through friends to avoid attention. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, casinos, junkets, and VIP rooms are linked to billions of dollars in laundering risk in some regions. But casinos have rules now, reporting large transactions, tracking unusual patterns, and checking identities. Still, clever launderers find ways around it. For example, a high roller might buy chips in smaller increments or use multiple casinos to layer money before cashing out. Trade-based money laundering. Someone is running a fake export company, but instead of hiding bags of cash, they hide behind invoices. This is trade-based money laundering in its simplest form, and it's one of the slickest tricks in the book. Here's the game. On paper, they're shipping 10,000 luxury handbags from Dubai to Singapore, but in reality, that container might be empty, or maybe it only has 500 bags. Doesn't matter. The invoice still says 10,000, and that single piece of paper justifies a massive money transfer across borders. Why does it work so well? Because global trade has become messy. Prices fluctuate almost every day. Customs officers don't open every crate. You can over-invoice, under-invoice, or mislabel goods. The scale is hard to nail down, but authorities warn that trade-based laundering may hide tens of billions, even much more over time, making it one of the toughest laundering problems, according to international anti-money laundering analyses. Sell cheap knockoff phones as premium electronics. Ship sugar, but call it machinery parts. The brilliance of this method is that everything looks completely normal. Importers really do pay invoices. Containers really do move from port to port. But behind those documents, dirty money is slipping quietly across borders, disguised as legitimate trade. Unless someone audits every crate and cross-checks every receipt, it's nearly impossible to tell what's real and what's fake. This is why trade-based laundering is favored by criminals. It hides in plain sight, wrapped in layers of normal business activity. Offshore accounts and bank help. Offshore accounts are like secret vaults in another country. On paper, it's just a bank account in places like the Cayman Islands, Switzerland, Panama, or the British Virgin Islands. But both the magic and the risk comes from the secrecy. Many of these countries don't ask who really owns the account. Some don't share information easily with foreign authorities. Here's exactly how criminals use them. Say someone has millions in illegal cash. They create a company in an offshore haven and open a bank account under that company's name. From there, the money can move anywhere, into stocks, real estate, or other businesses without anyone being able to connect it back to them. You can own a luxury property in London, a yacht in Dubai, and a stock portfolio in New York, all officially controlled by different offshore companies. Massive leaks like the Panama and Pandora papers exposed data on hundreds of thousands of offshore entities used to hide ownership, according to the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. It's not illegal to have offshore accounts. Many people use them for tax planning or international business. But when criminals use them to hide illegal money, it becomes the ultimate tool for laundering, protecting both the cash and their identity behind layers of paper, regulations, and distance.